Hey, collective. I'm a little late today. We're going to get into this and see what the next steps are. What is the collective's next steps? What are the collective's next steps? What are the collective's next steps? Ooh. Okay, guys, we have the Page of Swords. So, the Page of Swords, he's looking back at the past. He's not looking in front of him where he's going. He's also studying something, and he's very, very guarded. This can also be your stalker card. So you could have a stalker. But you're busy reminiscing in the past right now, and you're not paying attention to what's in front of you. And you need to be very careful because your next card out is this way. Your next card out was the devil. So the devil's lurking. So yes, you could very possibly have a stalker. And you could very possibly be bumping into a devilish energy. The devil is obsessive. He's toxic. He could have addictions. Could be lust, control, manipulation. So be very careful be very careful as you move forward. Instead of reminiscing on the past so much and looking back at the past, pay attention to what's in front of you, because you might need to use that sword and cut something out real fast. And these people, these people are chained. See, they're chained together. He's chained these two people. It's like the Lover's card, but the devil has control of these two people. He's chained these two people together. Whereas the Lovers, they're unchained. They're not chained. But what they don't realize is that they can take these chains and lift them over their head and get out of this situation. You have something coming toward you that is maybe going to try to chain and bind you. So be very discerning when moving forward. They could be wearing a mask. They could be, possibly putting on all the charm and putting an illusion out, and you may fall for it if you're not careful. And if you're part of my collective, then you've already been through this energy. You've already dealt with this. Hi, guys. You've already dealt with this kind of energy. They say all the right things, but their actions show something totally different. And before you know it, you end up trapped. And then you spend, a lot of time looking for that person that they were at the beginning, and you never see that again. That never shows up again. Or their energy feels you pulling away. They feel you pulling away. They feel, like maybe you might make a move to leave. So they'll bring that charm back out again for a little bit, just enough to keep you on that hook. So be very careful, because you definitely don't want to go back into a situation like this. Okay. So your next steps are being cautious. Walk slowly. Be cautious. Try to pay more attention to what's in front of you rather than what's been left behind. because I don't want to see my collective get tied up in something like that again. How are y'all doing? How do you say that? Ayash? YT? Hi. Asish? Daddy? If I get your names wrong, I apologize. How are y'all doing? Look, you have the Queen of Swords. She knows her worth. She or he. They know their worth. They've been through hell and back. They didn't become the Queen of Swords just because, you know, they wanted to become the Queen of Swords. They've been through a lot. At least it's not the Queen of Swords in reverse, because you better holler at her ass from across the street. But she knows her worth. And she's going to let you come forward, or he's going to let you come forward, and they're going to listen to what you got to say, but you best believe they already know the answer. Like, they already know. So you better not lie to them. You better not try to charm them. You better not try to feed them a bunch of bullshit, because they're not going to fall for it. You know what I mean? They're very tapped in to the divine, and they're seated on that throne, and they're not moving. You're going to come toward them, and they have this sword, you know, but she doesn't have it raised. It's just sitting there. It's resting. But if she needs to use it, she's not going to hesitate to use it to, you know, cut your head off, metaphorically, cut your head off, you know. And her tongue is very, very sharp. So not only is the sword represent, you know, the sharpness of a blade, but also the sharpness of a tongue. She can give you a tongue lashing that will leave you, you know, feeling like you just got thrown on your knees. So you got to be very careful going toward her. And her head's not in the clouds anymore. It's above the clouds. So she sees clearly. She knows. And she's intuitive. She knows. She already has the answers. And her back is turned to the devil. So if you pay attention to where you're going, you know, you're going to get past this devil energy, and you're not even going to realize it was around you, because you'll have your back turned to it, because you're going to cut out whatever's coming toward you before it has a chance to do anything. Or this is, you know, God Divine's suggestion for you. This is what they're telling you to do in your next steps. What else? What else do you want the collective to know? What's their next step? Okay, here you go. She's got someone coming toward her. Someone coming toward her. It's a Page of Cups, so it's a very small emotional offer. And she's looking at them, and they're showing her this cup, but it's got a fish in it. You know, it could be a Pisces coming toward you. It could have something to do with Pisces, or vice versa. You could be the Pisces, but is this an illusion? Is there really a fish in that cup, or is it just, you know, a party trick? You know what I'm saying? Is it the devil masked as, you know, one of those people that stand in front of the king and do all kinds of tricks? So you got to be very discerning. You know, they bring the jugglers in and the magicians in to perform in front of the kings and the queens. Is this a performer? Or are they really giving you something that's actually something? Are they saying they're going to give you something or do something and then not going to do it? So just be very discerning. And she's very smart. She's very, very intelligent. So she's going to know, and she's going to cut that out. So if you pay attention to not the words, but the actions, that'll tell you everything you need to know. And that's what he puts me in mind of, a performer. So is the performance to win your heart, or is the performance just for show? Till they get what they want and they get you stuck in this devil energy. And that's your thoughts too. Can someone come in and mess with you emotionally? What is my name? Laura. Can someone come in and get you off balance? Can they trigger you? Can they say something emotional that will have you all fired up and mad and pissed off, or crying in your pillow at night, or just frustrated where you can't think straight? Because that's devil energy. That's getting you in your head. You know what I mean? That's getting you off balance. Can someone come in and do that to you, or do you think you've got this? Are you steady? Are you grounded? Are you steady? Have you beat that? What else? And I know we've all been there. We've all been there. We've got the trophy. We've got the Medal of Honor. We've got the freaking t-shirt to prove that we've been there. Okay. Wow, they have a lot. Okay, so you have the Five of Cups. So there you go again. You're looking back in the past. You're reminiscing about the past. You know, you might feel like you miss the past and you want the past back. Some of you do. Some of you don't. There's two cards showing you that you're looking back in the past. But does that even impress you? Does that even inspire you anymore? What are you getting out of that? What were you getting out of that? What were you getting that you missed so much? You know what I mean? Was it, a lot of good days, or can you mark on the calendar a lot more bad days than you could good days? You don't really have a taste for this anymore. You miss it because it's something that you knew. It's something that textbook made sense. Made you feel good in the moment, but left you wrecked in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, it left you a mess. Why would you want to go back to something like you deserve so much better? And you need to start telling yourself you deserve so much better. And if you just turn around, there are two other cups in front of you they're not spilled. You know what I mean? It's two other options, two other things that God Divine is offering you, but you just got to turn around and see it. And if you turn around and you see that, you're also going to see the bridge back here that leads you to another home. You know what I mean? Mansion, home, whatever you want to do it. Depanker, hi. Marianne, hi. How are y'all? But you'll see that you weren't missing nothing here. This is going to be better. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say you're not going to get triggered. Like, the new person's going to come in. It's going to show you some of the things that you've seen in a past person. But the thing is, are you going to deal with it differently? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to let it get in your head? Are you going to start telling yourself it's not going to work? What if this happens again? Oh, what if they leave me again? What if they abandon me again? What if they cheat on me again? Because if you come from that mindset, you're going to recreate that. That's energy. That's all energy. You're manifesting that stuff, whether you know it or not. So try to come at it with a different mindset. Try to come at it with, this is going to work out. Why this is going to work out? Because I deserve this. And if something does go wrong, like you start having problems, don't sweep that shit under the rug. Don't sweep it under the rug. Address it. Speak up. Because if you can't talk to your partner, then why would you want them to be your partner? Address it. Because if you don't, even the little things you sweep under that carpet, that's energy. It's just going to keep expanding and expanding and expanding until there's a big blow up. And the blow up is going to come because of all the little things that were swept under the rug and they weren't dealt with. There's a difference in being selfish and selfless. You know what I mean? If you're helping people, say you're helping people, right? You're doing something to help people, CB, and you're so depleted, like you can barely get out of that bed. How are you going to continue to keep helping people? If you're not filling your own cup and you're not believing that you deserve, you know, you deserve everything that you want, that you desire, you deserve that, then how are you going to help other people? If you have nothing in your tank in the car's not going to run. Same with human. If you have nothing in your tank, in your cup, how are you going to pour out to other people? No, it's not. It becomes narcissistic when you put, like, you're in a relationship and you don't care about what the other person thinks. Like, you do whatever it is you want, regardless of how it's going to hurt the other person. But doing what you feel is right for you is different than just doing whatever you want. You know what I mean? You're not intentionally trying to hurt them. Yeah. I do deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve to be treated right. We all deserve to have the love of our life. We all deserve to have that job that we love getting up and going to every day. You know, the world has made us believe, and our childhood and growing up and everybody else, you know, constantly telling us we don't deserve it. That's the reason that we feel like we don't, because it's been beat into our heads so much that we start to believe those lies. And so you change your belief system, and it has nothing to do with religion or anything like that. It's your belief system, your mindset, the way you perceive things. Then you have the Hierophant. Hierophant, he's very wise, you know. He's very wise. He's got the keys to his kingdom. He's got the keys to anything that he ever would want in life. They're inside him. He also has the keys to break himself out of that prison, out of that mindset. Now, when you're breaking yourself out of that mindset and you're standing up for yourself and you're doing what makes you happy and you don't care what others think about what kind of job you're doing or what kind of clothes you wear or, you know, your personality, when you get to that point, you're breaking yourself out. People aren't going to like that. They're not going to like that you're breaking free of all those things. They're going to hate it. They're going to envy it. But you know what? When you have haters and you have people that envy you, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Because face it, we can't make everybody happy. Somebody is not going to like what we've done. It doesn't matter how good we are to them. Somebody's going to have a problem with it. So just be you. Be authentically you. Don't be me. Be you. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a tarot reader or you know, do any of this. Just when you get knocked down, get back up. Not because you know, it didn't affect you, but because you know that you deserve everything that, you know, you want. And you know your worth, and you know that you're strong, and you know that you're strong-willed, and you know you're not all the things that they say you are. And you don't need to learn that lesson again. You see? They've mastered it. They went through all the steps, and they mastered it. You don't have to. You've mastered it. You don't have to repeat that cycle. You don't have to let this devil energy back in. And this devil energy doesn't even have to be a person. It can be your own thoughts. It can be your own mindset about yourself. What do you tell yourself? When no one else is around and you're in a room by yourself, what are you telling yourself about yourself? You know what I mean? Are you speaking positively to yourself or are you speaking negatively to yourself? And if you are speaking negatively to yourself, stop and think, would you talk to a kid like that? Would you talk to the child the way that you talk to yourself when you're alone and no one's around? Because you are. You are. Because you're talking to that young, innocent child who just wanted someone to protect them. Just wanted to know that they were loved. Just wanted to feel like they weren't left out and abandoned and they actually meant something, you know? And that child is still in you. And that child needs you to be its mother, and it needs you to be its father, and it needs you not to beat it up and talk to it like that because you went through that when you were younger, you know? So you need to give that inner child inside you nurturing and love and the care that you never had growing up. Also, there's red on him, and red is your root chakra, so it's grounding, it's your stability, it's your foundation of what you're building on. It's when your root chakra's out of whack, you feel insecure, you don't feel safe, you don't feel grounded. Ground yourself. I like to go outside when you can and put my feet on the ground and imagine roots coming out of the bottoms of my feet and going into the center of the earth. And I imagine a big red rock down there that it goes into, and then they come back up and they feel my whole body and they surround my body and they transmute that energy. Like I asked Mother Nature, Mother Gaia, to transmute that energy, to take that negative energy and transmute it into something positive. And it helps a lot of times when I'm ungrounded or I'm unsettled. Or I like to go sit by a river and just listen to the water rush over the rocks. I also go in the shower and take a shower, and I'll ask all the negative energy to leave and bring positive energy in. There's a lot of different ways you can get grounded. But he's very intuitive, and he is the high priestess husband. So that's what he's looking for. He's looking for someone who's a high priestess. You have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is battle, conflict, gossip, people putting you down behind your back, people lying on you, anything they can do to fight you or to get you to fight. And a lot of this is usually in your head. They're not fighting with swords, they're fighting with wands. So it's like play fighting. It's nothing serious, but it is saying to get out of your head. Don't let people get to you. Don't sit in conflict. You know what I mean? Make a decision and know that whatever decision you make is the right one, no matter what. There's no such thing as wrong decision. And if people are gossiping about you and lying about you and, running their mouths about you, just ignore it. Ignore it. It can't hit you unless you accept it. If you duck and you ignore it, it boomerangs back to them. And it's all energy. The way people treat people, it comes back on them. The way they talk to people comes back on them. You have the Five of Swords here. Your next step is to take those weapons away from the enemy. Don't let them get to you. Don't let them get you ungrounded. Doesn't matter what they say. Because when they're saying that nasty shit to you, it's actually how they feel about themselves, even though they don't even realize that's how they feel about themselves. So don't let them project that onto you. You know what I mean? Some of them don't even know that's how they feel deep inside. But don't let them project that on you, because it's not your truth. You know what I mean? And they're just jealous because you have the strength to move on, and you have the strength to pick yourself up. You have the strength to, choose to build a different life. Look, you have the Seven of Swords. It's moving from the 5 to the 7. So that's what he's doing. He went and stole these swords from these people over here at this circus so that they can't use them against him. And then he left behind what no longer serves him, what he doesn't need, because he doesn't need all those. This is mental. Swords are thoughts. Swords are mental. And people will mess with your emotions and try to get you ungrounded, because misery loves company, And if you're out there shining and you're out there doing the damn thing, well, they don't like that, because then they got to reflect back on themselves and look back on themselves. And a lot of people don't like that. Hello, Renee. Jesus, he sacrificed himself for my sins, And, I have a different belief than everybody. Everybody believes that you need to go to church. No, you don't. Jesus wasn't in church. He was out in the street with his people. He was out there doing the hard thing, out with his people. He wasn't under some roof. He went up on the mountain when he wanted to get close to God. And yes, you do have a support system in there, but you got to think about something. What do you hear now on the news about church? I mean, there are people in church who judge you and put you down. And doesn't the Bible say ye not judge? Judge them not, for they know not what they do. Says that too. And it's no one's place to judge anybody. That's his place. And when you're judging, you will get judged. When you pass from this life, you will be judged. So he does love everyone, but he's also going to put you in your place. And let me tell you, buddy, he's taken me to my knees several times when I've been on the wrong path. I don't care what it is. If I do something wrong, he spanks me right there. And I correct myself right there. Yes, we do. And we also, the way that we treat people, we get into a cycle of that same treatment. I've watched it over and over. I've seen it over and over. I've watched a lot of my exes go through it. Because I've treated them like gold, and I've treated them like kings, and I've been treated like dirt under their feet. But what they don't know is that because of them, I'm a lot stronger. I've evolved. I've grown. I've taken what they've thrown at me, and I've used it to build me, to see me for who I am. And that's what you guys need to do, where they're taking at you and they're throwing at you and they're taking you to your knees. You need to come at it from a different mindset. You need to use it to build you, because that's not your truth. It's not your truth. And the more they take you down and the more you rise, the madder they're going to get. Amen, Marianne. Yes. I know it had to be Jesus. It had to be God that saved me from my childhood. I prayed all the time when I was a kid, all the time, and saved me from my twin's father killing me, because I was in the car driving and he decided that he was going to take the pocket knife that I bought him for his birthday and stick it in my chest. And I didn't even realize that's what he done. I thought he was trying to shove a pin or something in my chest, until I went to try to take it from him and it cut these 3 fingers. And then he tried to slice my throat, and I don't know how I had the strength to keep him from doing that. He got my chin. I don't know how I had the strength to do it, but all of a sudden I got strength out of her. You know what I mean? And back then, like, I wasn't quick thinking. Like, I'm a laid back person. So if you rush me, I forget things. And so I wasn't one of those quick reaction people, but I knew to get out of my seatbelt and get out of the car. And I didn't even hit the brake. I just got out of my seatbelt and I jumped and, saved my life. Did I ever think that he would stick a knife in my chest? No, I didn't, But do I regret it? No, because it built me. It built character. And I have 2 beautiful girls from it. Yes. It came out in tongues when we were young that we were protected. So, Marianne, I understand exactly what you're going through. Which you got to take what they did to you and turn that around. And like me, You're probably an overgiver. You probably went above and beyond to make them happy because, I mean, you know, you were treating them like a king, treating them like gold. You went above and beyond to make them happy, and nothing you did was ever good enough. Never, never good enough. Yes. You need to turn that around, and instead of treating them like gold, you need to treat you like gold. Yeah, I go out and buy my own flowers. I take myself out. I nurture myself. And I catch myself beating myself up. I'm like, you know, that's not your truth. That's the old way of thinking. That's the old you. That's the old way of thinking. You let other people make you feel that way about yourself. And that's what, you know, that's what you need to do. Turn it around. Because it's not true. You were born with the birthright to have everything you ever wanted. You were born with the birthright to be treated the way that you treat others. But sadly, in this world, it doesn't work like that. You know, there's, and I'm not putting you down. I don't want you to think that I'm putting you down. Yes, there you go. God by my peeps. Yeah, there you go. When we treat people like gold, there's something we're lacking in ourselves, or something that we feel like we're lacking in ourselves. Somewhere inside of us, we don't think that we can keep them without doing that. And I've been there. So I'm not in any way saying anything bad about you. You know what I mean? And we have to realize that we were never lacking anything anyway. We never were. We allowed other people to make us think that we weren't worthy. But that's not true. We've always been worthy. Yes. And I'm a healer too. My words, and everybody comes to me when they've got wounds or they've got something that they need healed. And Mom always told my brothers and sisters, go to Laura. I'm sure she's got something. You know, I'm sure she's got something to help you. So, yeah. Yes. But these are thoughts, you know what I'm saying? So they can't beat you up if you're in charge of your own thoughts. They can't take you down if you're already ahead of them. You're in charge of your own thoughts. You don't let those words battle you. You don't let them hit you no more. Like, if you duck, they're not going to hit you. I know I'm going to get this all messed up, but you'll get the gist of it when I'm saying it. There was this teacher, and maybe some of you guys will know what I'm saying. There was this teacher, mentor or whatever, teaching his students. And the whole time that he was teaching the class, the boy in the back was throwing insults at him. You know what I mean? But the teacher kept on teaching, like he didn't hear it at all. And afterwards, you know, after class, the student went up to him and asked him, you know, he was like, I've been insulting you the whole time. I've been, you know, disrupting the class and all that. Why didn't you pay attention to me? Why didn't you say anything back? You know what he told him? He said, if you give somebody a gift and they don't accept it, who's that gift belong to? Belongs to the person that gave it, right? So if they're throwing insults at you and you don't take them, and you don't let them hit your subconscious, you don't let them hit your heart and trigger you, they have no choice but to sit with those insults. You know what I mean? And it's going to piss them off that they could not get you unbalanced. So take the swords away. Plan, plot, strategize your way forward, and don't let what anybody else thinks about it bother you, because this is your life, not theirs. You did not come here to fix anybody. And I had to learn this. Because I want to fix everybody. I want love. I want peace. You know, I want everybody to get along. So I had to learn this the hard way. And I have actually came very close to death 4 times by trying to drag them out of what they were not even worried about being drug out of. It was like going into a river and trying to save somebody that's drowning, that fights against you the whole entire time. No matter what I said to them, you know, they always decided to come from a woe is me attitude, you know, and they always had a negative thing to say back. And I cared about them so much because I love all people. I don't care who you are. I love you. Unconditionally love you. I understand that everybody has these trauma wounds and everybody's been through this stuff. Some don't see it and some don't want to accept it. But I tried and tried and tried to the point where my soul literally felt like it was dying. And I had to realize I even ended up so depleted that I ended up with pneumonia out in my car, living out in my car. So, like, I gave everything. I gave everything to try to help them see that they weren't the person they were projecting themselves to be. And, you know, to see the world in a different way than they've always seen it. And I almost died doing that. So I had to learn that I had to put me first. I had to put me first. And I can set wisdom and knowledge at people's feet, but I can't make them pick it up. It's like taking a horse to water. You can't make it drink. You know what I'm saying? And you can't deplete yourself and put yourself in a corner and dim your light trying to help somebody else. I'm not saying don't help people. I'm just saying you got to recognize when they don't want the help. They want the handout. Yes, exactly, exactly. I don't know when you said that, if you said that before me or after me. I tend to channel, I tend to connect with people, and if I'm around people long enough, I can finish their sentences for them. Yes, you have to. You have to. And, you know, they're going to make you feel like you're doing wrong. They're going to try to make you feel guilty for putting yourself first. But don't ever feel guilty for putting yourself first. Because you got to love you. You got to love you before you can pour that out to somebody else. Yeah, be true to yourself. Being saved, I already answered that question. If you go back, you'll hear it. I don't know what I would have done without him. There's been several times that I've been close to death, and without God, Jesus, divine source, I believe it's all one, because it's all energy too. I wouldn't be here. So, okay, what else do you want to tell them? What are the next steps? We know they need to take the swords away from the enemy. What else? Okay. All right. You need to let whatever is trying to be let go. You need to let it go. You're going through a death and a rebirth. And I think they were saying something about Scorpio too. Plus Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 19 years. Pluto is all about death and transformation. I know, Squirt. Hold on, guys. Hold on. My cat's getting her started. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. You want to come say hi? Say hi, guys. This is Squirt. You gonna say hi? You gonna say hi, baby? Okay. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hello. Yes. He also said that he had chosen ones and they were hidden amongst the people. So, take that as you will. Anyway, you're going through a death and a rebirth. You know, I call what we go through Dark Night of the Soul. And I call it that because it actually shows us inside of us where we're having trust issues and, abandonment issues and, we're being triggered. Because anything that upsets you, anything that makes you sad, it's triggering some kind of wound inside of you. You need to go back and figure out why that is. You know what I mean? I've done this same work on myself. Go back and figure that out why that is. And be patient with yourself and don't be too hard on yourself, because those wounds didn't happen overnight. They happened over years. And it's like an onion. You're gonna deal with it layer upon layer upon layer. But I know. But don't be hard on yourself. And it takes you to your knees, and it is hard. But if you release it and you stop telling yourself what everyone else is doing, you stop, why wasn't I good enough for them? What did I do wrong? Why aren't they coming back? Why aren't they answering me? Why aren't they trying to fight for me? Because they already seen your worth. They've already seen it. And they want you to chase them. And don't do that, because then that creates the runner chaser. I don't know if you guys understand it, but when you chase them, they run. And when you stop, no, baby. And when you stop chasing them, then they come forward, I know, baby. I know. He's teasing you, isn't he? Is Sassicus teasing you? Yeah, he's picking on you, isn't he? What else? Yes, I know. She's so spoiled. I've got her so spoiled. Don't I? Yes, I do. Yeah. No, you gotta stay up here. You gotta stay up here, or you gotta go back in there. What else? Yeah, see? Don't let them get you in this spot again. Don't let them get you to a point where you feel defeated. You feel backstabbed, betrayed, left for dead, not cared about. You know what I mean? Because it's an illusion. It's an illusion that you're not loved. It's an illusion that you're not cared about. You're surrounded by your loved ones all the time. You're surrounded by passed on loved ones and ancestors. And I love you unconditionally. I don't even know you, but I love you unconditionally, because I love people unconditionally. That's what God divine put me here for. To show people the kind of love that, people don't think exists. It does exist. And I've been told that I'm too sensitive. I've been told that I'm gullible, I'm naive, all of that. Why? Because I believe in people, and I believe in giving people second chances, sometimes third. Because, I've changed who I was, and if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. Sassicus, Lucas, you're picking on the puppies. Yes, you are. You're picking on the puppies. You're picking on the puppies. You want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Yeah, say hi. All right. You got to go back to bed. Yeah, you got to go back to bed. Yeah, you got to go back to bed. Go back to bed. Good night, baby. You, young man, you come in here with mommy, because you're teasing them. Yes, you're teasing them. But do you guys know what you're saying? Yeah. Guided by my peeps, my heart goes out to you. Yes. And I've had people ask me, well, why do you go back to them? Like, why do you do that? Why do you give to them? Why this? Why that? Because I see the potential in them that they don't even see in themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I know what their potential is, even though they can't see it. And I try to show them, but they don't see it. And I've noticed something else too. You know, I used to feel like a failure. Don't you go out there and pick on them. You be nice. Yes. I noticed something else too. I try to help them. I try to teach them. I try to be there for them. And, you know, in no way, shape, or form am I saying I'm better than anybody else. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just trying to be a better me each day. You know what I mean? I'm constantly always working on myself. Constantly, constantly. I've pretty much, quit living my life because I was constantly working on myself, trying to fix myself. And when I realize something, it's like a switch. It's like an epiphany moment. I can flip that switch and I can flip that behavior. But I realized there's not anything wrong with me, and there's not anything wrong with you. There never was. You've been told that there was, but there's not. There's not. Thank you, Liam. Yes, it is. And those vibrations that you send out, people can actually feel them. They actually do touch them. They can feel them. Because like I said, it's all energy. Um, Guided by my peeps, honey, sometimes you're not gonna even get that truth. You gotta give it to yourself. You gotta give it to yourself. You know, you deserved a lot more than that. And I'm not even gonna beat them up. Like, I'm not even gonna beat them up because you got to stick yourself in their shoes too. What did they go through? You know what I mean? What did they go through? What caused them to be that way? Like, some of them don't even realize the damage that's been done to them. And, some of them have been hurt too, and it's made them a runner. It's made them afraid of commitment. It's made them afraid to settle down again. So I'm not even going to beat them up. They have their own insecurities. I've been with guys where I could see the insecurities, but and instead of them dealing with them or whatever, they projected them onto me and made me feel guilty and made me feel insecure when I was doing nothing wrong. But when he comes back, like, how are you going to handle that? And I just said when, so yeah, he is. I don't know when, but if I said when, there's a reason for everything. So when he comes back, how are you going to handle that? Because if he comes back doing the same old things, talking to you the same old ways, treating you the same, why would you want to take that back? You know what I mean? And I've noticed too, they'll come back acting like they've changed. They did the work, they changed. They'll even try to get on the same page as you or act like they have. And that'll last, if you're lucky, 6 months, if you're lucky. Most of it's within weeks, they're back to the same old behavior. I had someone who, well, I can't really say that he kept the mask on for 10 months because I was already getting the intuitive hits. I was already questioning him. I was already saying, this is how I feel. This is what I'm feeling like. I feel like there's something off. And I was made to be delusional and crazy. I mean, I've actually had people call me delusional and crazy and naive and gullible and all of that. But see, what they don't understand is it's not that I'm naive and gullible. It's that I want to be able to believe in people. I want to be able to. Um, you deserve better than a third party. And I'm in no way telling you not to take him back if he comes back, but you deserve better than a third party. And the way that you get them is also the way that you lose them. And I don't recommend it. And I'm telling you that from experience too. Because I was put in between that too. I cared about two different people and didn't understand how I cared about two different people. And I tried to do the right thing, and there was no right thing in either one of them. There was no right thing. All it did was drag me into craziness and chaos. And they each played on my emotions. They used my emotions to guilt trip me and make me feel like I owed them something. For me, in the end, they both ended up hurting me really, really bad. So the right thing for me would have been to walk away from both of them. Honey, I'm not saying it's not real love. I was what? I just turned 18. I wasn't long from being 18, and I met my first child's father. And back then I had no self-esteem. The parents were home. So I was taking a break. I was outside sunbathing. And this is getting a little personal, but I mean, if you can't open up to people, then what's the sense? I was sunbathing, and this guy brought his brother over because his brother and the little girl that I was dating, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And the parents were home. So he brought him over. And I was sitting there sunbathing, reading a book, and just, minding my own business or whatever. And then all of a sudden I had this guy walk up to me, and he was like, "Do you want me to put suntan lotion on you?" Guys, I turned around to see who he was talking to. You know what I'm saying? When I looked up and I saw him, I knew he couldn't have been talking to me. And I looked around to see if there was anybody else. And then I looked at him and I was like, "Are you talking to me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you." And it was love at first sight. Right. Yeah, it was love at first sight. And it was great. It was great for a long time. But, um 30 some years I was in love with that man. Now, did I leave him? Yes. Because I wasn't being treated right. Later on. And, we tried several times over a 30-year period of getting back together, but it always ended up toxic. And I mean, I still love the man today. Would I say that I'm in love with him? Not anymore. But there used to be a time I couldn't even keep my eyes off of him. When it come to him, I became weak in the knees. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I had to learn how to tell him no. And at first it was very hard. It was very, very, very hard. But I did learn how to do it. And the reason that I learned how to do it is because I want more than he's offering. I want commitment. I want that. And that was not something he was ready to give me. And it's been 30 years. It's never going to happen. It's never going to be that way. Then I deserve better than that. No, I'm not a model, but thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Berry Cherry Tea. Interesting name. Yeah. So what you believe is what's true. If you believe that you're everything that they tell you that you are, then it's true, and if you believe that you're not, that's also true. God has no choice but to give you and show you what you believe about yourself. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you're lonely, if you feel lonely, God's going to give you more lonely. I've been in a relationship and been completely lonely. Like, we never talked. I sat and watched videos all day, and he sat and watched TV. And I mean, when he wanted something, I jumped and I got him whatever he wanted. And then he would go to his friends and everybody else and tell him I never did anything for him. You know, I would make him lunch in the evening, and he for work, and he would go to his mom and tell her that he didn't have lunch, and I would make his dinner and he didn't eat. So he was eating twice. He was eating when I was making, he was eating there. Then he was taking what I packed him and what his mom packed him. So, you can't please everybody. Hello, little Jill. Joel, how are you? I'm good. I like just kind of hanging out and talking with you guys, What's on the bottom of this? Look, go within. Everything I'm talking about, go within. What's your truth? You know what I mean? What's your real truth? Not what everybody tells you. You're not who everybody tells you are. What's your truth? Don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to be different. Where are leaders going to come from? You know what I'm saying? If everybody's afraid to step out of the crowd and be different and step out of that box, where's the leaders coming from? Can't everybody follow? We have to have a leader. Africa, Ghana, that's cool. Nice meeting you. Yes. And people don't want to see you be strong and brave. They do not. They want to tear you down. They want to dim your light because your light shows their shadows. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that. They don't want me on here talking, guys. Like, they want to shut me up. I told them several times they want to shut me up, and they say no, but they want to shut me up because every time I start talking, things that make sense, like the things I'm talking to you guys, I'm told I'm delusional and crazy. But if you think about it common sense wise, I'm an Aquarius, so logic, you know what I mean? If you think about it, it makes sense. Yes. Got it by my peeps. My heart goes out to you, girl. And I don't know. Sometimes, you're away from somebody for so long, because I've had this happen too. You're away from somebody for so long, and then when you get back around them, and you spend some time around them, you start thinking to yourself, what did I ever see in this person? Like, they're still in the same place they were 7, 8, 9 years ago. They're still have not done anything to change their mindset, change their life. They're still doing the same shit that they were doing before. And I'm just like, whatever made me so pulled to them? Like, whatever made me feel like I couldn't live without them? Pisces, there's that Pisces in the cup. Yes, girl. Me too. Throwing shade, throwing hate, doing spells, and then when I called them on it, they tried to tell me I was being delusional. But you can feel that shit. But you know what? Don't accept it. Don't accept it. Don't be afraid of it. I know that my gods, guides, and guardian angels, archangels, I know they have me. I know that I'm protected. Yes. Yes. And it's like an empath narcissist paradigm. The empath is the overgiver, and the narcissist is the taker, whether that's money, energy, time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. You can feel it. You can feel that energy. You feel something's off. And you can't talk to them about it because I swear them down it's not. but they're doing things by under the full moon. And yeah, I know what you're saying. I've dealt with the same energy, and it has hit me. I I I saw someone who got so mad at me for taking my power back, and that's what you need to do. You need to take it back because they can't take it unless you give it to them. I dealt with a person who he cursed me. He sent a curse my way. He cursed me, my kids, all my loved ones, my job, my vehicle, all of that. And it hit me. It hit me. I lost everything. Everything. You know? Um, Started fighting with my cousin, and my kids have wrecked their car several times during that time. Um, my heater and stuff went out in my car in the middle of winter time. I mean, it was just like right after he said it, like boom, 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 boom. One thing after the other. And even the homelessness that I have right now, like I'm actually homeless. I'm visiting my dad, but I'm not even gonna let that take me down. You know what I mean? Because I know God Divine has a plan for me. And I'll know it when I see it. But here's the thing. You are going to get some of that. Some of that is going to hit you. But 90% of that is going to ricochet back to them. So, and that's like love spells. People tell you, do a love spell. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. The guy that I told you that I met, that it was love at first sight, I had 2 children by him. And it wasn't until 2013. Now, mind you, I met him when I was 18. It wasn't 2013 because it was after mom died. So I'd say around 2011, 2012, that he actually told me that he worshiped the devil. He worshiped the devil. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? And I definitely told him that at the battle at the end, I will be fighting against him. But he told me that he put a binding spell on me without my knowledge and against my free will. So yeah. But he didn't like it because after my mom passed away, we weren't getting along. Like, we weren't getting along at all. I can't even go into the detail of some of the stuff that went on. But he got very upset when I told him that my mom had visited me one night, and I cannot explain. There are no words on this planet to explain the beauty. I mean, her hair was down in ringlets, and she died of cancer. They had cut her hair and everything, but her hair came down in ringlets, and she just had this glow of it, and she was just so beautiful. There are no words to describe it, but a peace came over me. Like, there was just this peace. And he kept saying, how'd she get in here? I don't know how she got in here. She should not have been able to get in here. So West Virginia. Basher, where do you live? But yeah, he was freaked out because my mother was able to break through that. And after my mom showed up, the pull toward him wasn't as strong. Pennsylvania. My boys are all down there. Yeah, that's where all my boys are. And the guy that I'm talking about, believe it or not, Pennsylvania. So that's kind of crazy. I feel like that's a confirmation there. Is this normal there to live alone, 18-year-old child? Yeah. I mean, I know some 18-year-olds who have lived alone. And some kids, can grow up and get emancipated. I left home when I was 17. Oh, do you? I have three. I have three sons. Three sons and a set of twin girls. I don't know. They're kind of spread out up there. Oh, well, one of them is on the Army base because he's a Marine, my youngest. Masher, what do you think my age is? I cannot remember the name of the places they were saying they were at. I know that my one son was in Pittsburgh. He's moved out of Pittsburgh now. You're close, Basher. Go down. Do I look that bad? I mean, I've been through a lot of takedowns, so I'm coming back from that, but go up. Getting really close, Basher. Yeah, I'm a good ways from it too. Thank you, Basher. So we're around the same age, pretty close anyway. One more down, Basher. But I will be that in February. I still got my headphones in. Y'all can hear me pretty good. I don't know if they're working, but I've still got my headphones in. Yeah, I'm 51. 51 and had 5 kids. And a set of twins. So 3 boys and 2 girls at one time. How do you say that, Crate TV? Hello? February 1st. March 13th, are you kidding me? God, by my peeps, that's my oldest son's birthday. Halloween. That's pretty cool. Yes. He was born in the blizzard of 93. I tell him that he brought the blizzard with him because I went to the hospital and then it started snowing so bad I got stuck in the hospital. Yep. He's a Pisces. Basher, what in the world? 15? What are you even doing up? Oh, well, I'm happy for her. Yeah, that was a crazy blizzard. That was crazy. I got stuck in the hospital having to eat hospital food. It sucked. Oh, and then I still couldn't go home because my niece and them decided to take my little sister. She got the chicken pox and decided to sit under a blanket vent over the heat vent and incubated him. So I couldn't go home. I couldn't take him home. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was in labor with him for 13 hours. I walked the floors and walked the floors and walked the floors. They had to actually break my water. I had Braxton Hicks with him really bad, like constantly. And then when he's supposed to come, he didn't want to come. So he was 2 weeks late. All that is so cool. That is so cool. Well, congratulations. Congratulate her. I'm happy for her. Babies are miracles. Now I'm not going to tell you that when they get older, you don't want to hang them upside down on the ceiling, but they're still miracles. I love my kids, all of them. Sometimes don't love what they do, but I love them, and I'm sure there's things that I've done they don't like either. So you're welcome. Good morning, Princess Yorma. Good morning. How are you? Oh, I don't even want to think about that. 13 was enough for me. And I had a C-section with the twins, so I know what you're saying. My last ones I had a C-section with. But my labors got shorter each kid. And my kids got way less each kid. Um my oldest son was almost a 10-pound baby. I had them all natural until the twins. And the reason I ended up having a C-section is because my daughter decided at the last minute, she turned around and got ready, but at the last minute, she decided that she was going to turn back around and face the opposite way. So, and they were born 5 weeks early. How is your morning going, Princess? Yeah, their C-sections are no joke. I don't know about you, but after I had my C-section, I actually felt like I had electric shock going down my right leg. And I couldn't stand straight for probably 2 weeks. My family picked on me and called me an old grandma. Oh, got it by my peeps. I hate to hear that. Now, see, that's another thing. My twins are the only ones to survive in my family. Both sides of my family, which I did not know, um, had twins, but only one survived. So, I mean, I took all my vitamins. I ate healthy. I did the best I could. Like I did everything I could to make sure that they both were healthy. My grandmother's baby, she had a twin. Uncle Brian had a twin, and which I probably saying his name on here, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he took sucked all the nutrients and life out of the other one, and it didn't survive. Sciatica, is that what you're saying? Yes, that's sad. I was also 5 weeks early when I was born, and I only weighed a little over 5 pounds. My twins were 5'1" and 5'1/4. And my mom actually got pregnant with me on the birth control pill. So see, I've been fighting since since before I came out of the womb. Yes. We're blessed to have you here, Guided. You're a blessing to this world. You're supposed to be here. But the devil don't want you to know that, you know? The Beatles? Oh yeah. I like the Beatles. Yep, I like the Beatles. Yes, we do. Did you like that museum? I've never been. I haven't done much in my life because guys always wanted to imprison me in the house. That's cool. I'm glad. Glad to experience life while you can. I don't know. They were just so insecure that they were afraid they couldn't keep me unless they kept me tied up in the house or they beat the hell out of me. But you know what? They all come back. I don't get it. I'm not good enough. Like they put me down and they treat me like dirt under their feet, and I'm the worst thing that they ever were with. But they all come back. Oh, that's cool. I love music. Music has helped me through so much in life. You know what? I used to have to go cut my own switches off the tree to be whipped with, and man, they left some welts up and down my back and and my butt and my legs. But you know what? I would have rather be beat than half the stuff that was said to me because mental abuse words, they don't just go away. You know, bruises go away. Words don't go away. Takes a long time to get that stuff out of your mind. Yeah. And it seems you keep meeting the same type over and over and over again. At least in my case, it was. My mom was married to an abuser. This stepdad was good to her. Um, but my mom, well, several abusers. I got to see it growing up. And then I married into the same thing. It's a repeated cycle, and I'm a cycle breaker. So, although it took me a long time to break that cycle because I'm awful stubborn. And when you're vulnerable like that and you got a heart on your sleeve like that, and they take advantage of that. They use it and they abuse it. They take you for granted, and you shouldn't be taken for granted. I mean, I've recently, um, and it was a guy in jail, so that's on me. That's on me. But God took me there, and I know why He took me there. He took me there because I'm very stubborn, and it would have took someone that could drop to those levels to pull me out of that crap. You know what I mean? Like what they used to take me to my knees, I used to build me. But my dad, my real dad, passed away. He got hit um, hauling a vehicle, and he was a junker. He loved doing that, and he got hit on his side of the road, and it crushed him in between the steering wheel and the seat. And I would rather have my dad back than any of the money that I ever got. But I was so in love with this man, and I believed him so much, believed him. Like, he made me believe him that I was sending like $300 to his trust account um, every time that, you could send it. You could only send it so often, but every time you could send it, I was sending it to him. And we were supposed to supposedly get together, $3,000 so that when he got out, he could, we could go camping. We were supposed to go camping for a week. I've never been camping. And then he was supposed to go get his license, and then he was supposed to go to work. And I had this dream, like this plan. And he was always, he had a temper, but most of the time, he was good to me. But I noticed he was pulling back and stuff, and I called him on a lot of this stuff. And then he ran off with my brother's ex-wife, guys. He ran off with my brother's ex-wife. Not only did he leave me with all that money, which I could care less. I don't give a shit about that money. Money can be replaced, and I'm taken care of. But family, with family. Well, I ended up being broke, and then when I was broke, they tossed me aside. How that works. But I went and sold all the tools and stuff that I had bought him. I had bought him tools, because he said he was going to build a bed and stuff for him. I had bought him tools, and I sold them. When I was homeless, I sold them so that, I had money. My dad passed away on the 23rd of July in 2022. Yeah, yeah. But I always have what I need, because I have faith. And I know that, God, divine source, they take care of me. I always have what I need. And I learned something too through all of that. It's not only you having faith in him, but he puts you on that battle line because he has faith in you, and he knows you're going to make it through it. He knows you're going to be strong. And you know what? There, got it by my peeps. You have a lot of knowledge and wisdom that you can pass on to other people. They need to hear your story. It's important. You went through those things and you made it out the other side because he wanted you to have the wisdom and the knowledge to pour on to other people. You're supposed to be a leader just like me. Yes. And my mother's birthday was July 4th. But she passed away in April of 2010. Yes. You need to. Because the world needs to hear it. You know what I mean? A lot of people out there don't know how to make it through those things, and they're suffering in it, and they're going through it. And I was one of them, And they need to know, one, that there are other people out there like that. There are other people like that going through it. They're not alone. My dad's birthday is November 8th. He was a Scorpio. My mom was a Cancer, and my dad was a Scorpio, and my stepdad here is a Capricorn. Capricorn, man, I don't know what it is. I'm surrounded by Capricorn energy. My stepdad's a Capricorn. My brother down there is a Capricorn. Two guys that I dealt with was Capricorn. I can't seem to get away from Capricorn. I've seen both sides of a Capricorn. I've seen the immature, and I've seen the mature. Capricorns are they care about their family. Like they work so much to sometimes because they want to build a foundation and stability. I've seen it. I've seen it out of my stepdad and my brother. They want to build stability so bad that sometimes they forget about the family they're building it for. And they don't, they work so hard they don't make time to spend with them. January 8th. Well, his is the 23rd, and my brother's is the 22nd of December. Enjoy your mom while you have her. I miss my mom. Luan Rivera, what do you mean $10? My mom had brain cancer, throat cancer, and lung cancer, and I was the last they told out of the family. And you know, mom had 6 of us all together. I was the oldest. I was the last they told because they thought that I wouldn't be able to emotionally handle it. And by the time I found out, she had gone for brain surgery, and she came out, good with that. But her throat cancer is what ended up putting her in the hospital, and they put her in a coma, and she never came back out. But I went with her to her chemo treatments and radiation treatments and stuff, and I got to spend the last 2 months with her because I quit my job and gave up my home and moved home. Oh my, that is a miracle in itself. Thank God. My mom was 56 when she passed away. My dad was 74. And I miss her. She was the glue that held everybody together. But she had her toxic ways too. Now, don't let me say that she didn't, but I still love her. But it's passed down, generation after generation after generation, and sometimes we don't even see it. 63. I don't know why. Maybe because I was the oldest, I don't know. But I always seemed to come home to see mom at the wrong times. Sometimes I'd stop by at the wrong times, and man, she was in a badass mood. And she always took it out on me. Always. I always got the brunt of it. And I actually got the courage to look at her one day and say, Mom, why are you so hateful? And she looked me in the face and said, You kids made me that way. And, I looked at my mom and I told her that was the biggest cop out I'd ever heard. But I still love her. I still love her dearly. I tried my best to make her proud of me. And not once in my life did I ever hear those words, but I still love her. I'd give anything to have her back. And I love my stepdad here to death. Like he taught me how to be a kid again when he met my mom. He taught me how to be a kid again. But I also would give anything to have my real dad back to be able to spend some more time with him. Because we weren't close. I didn't grow up with him, but we got very close toward the end. I addressed that pink elephant in the room nobody wanted to address. But I'm an Aquarius, so I'm a truth teller. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak my mind, and I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but I can't see sugarcoating shit either. I got through it when I went to Dad's place. Dad was a hoarder, and I have another channel that if you go on there, um, I can't remember what I named it now. Tigress Project, I think, is what I named it. I didn't keep up with it because my phone was shitty and the Wi-Fi was bad there. But if you go on it, you will see what I moved into. Like you couldn't even walk on the floor, and I cleaned all of that up. I spent over 2 years cleaning that place up. It's supposed to be mine and my brother's because I have two brothers on my dad's side, and I had to deal with not only my brother being a bully, love you, Roger, but also, constantly telling me to get out, and I had a heart attack while I was there. I was under a lot of stress. And, I was fighting him and fighting his boss for God only knows why. The boss would be a part of all of it. And sometimes fighting his mom. And it just got to be too much. You know what I mean? It just got to be too much. And I told him the sixth time that he had told me to get out that I had already made an agreement with God. Like I'd already talked to God that if it happened one more time to get me out of there and find a place for me, my cat, and my dog to go. Well, unfortunately, God told me that I had to give my dog to my cousin. She helped my cousin a lot. My cousin loved her, and she loved him to death. And he found a place for me in Sussex to go. And the seventh time that he told me that, I said, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Oh, I'll go get pivotal medicine. I said, that's good, but I'm still leaving. And he did go get pivotal medicine, but I still left. I don't care about that place. You know what I mean? It's not worth the stress. Yeah. I've been told, I've had guys kick me out most of my life. And I've been called a gold digger. How are you a gold digger when you overgive? I mean, how are you a gold digger when you put the $3,000 on somebody's books or close to it? We got close to it, but I mean, I bought him all kinds of stuff too. And I didn't do it because I was trying to buy him. I did it because I didn't want him to worry. I didn't want him to stress. I wanted him to take a break. I wanted him to be able to relax. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I'm not going to say that, there wasn't things in there that I wasn't toxic about too, because I was, there's old thoughts, there's old things that were beat in my head all that time. I was constantly second guessing and second guessing myself and doubting it. And, I had a lot of insecurities, but I talked to him about all of them. Like I was always truthful with him. I talked to him about all of them. Um, Lay 30 perk, if that's how you pronounce it, you would have to tell me the names of the movies and then maybe I might know. I'm not good at the actors or singers, a few singers that I know, by name. But most of the time I watch the movies. I love the movies and music. I love music, but I can't, don't keep that stuff in my head. I read those things that go up, but I can tell you. There's some actors I can tell you, but others I can't. Excuse me. Yeah, I have to. And my dad's been dead 3 years, over 3 years now, and he still has not taken. He hasn't changed the property over to our names. I think he wanted me to go in and do the work, and then he wanted me out. He wanted me out of the way. And that's all fun and dandy, you know. My dad never gave me a damn thing in my life anyway. I mean, he gave my mom $10 my whole entire life, so why now? I'm definitely not perfect. I'm not. And I don't claim to be, you know. And I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I just, I want to be a better me. I don't know about you or what you believe, but I do believe that we come back and do this shit again. And I don't want to come back and do it again. So I want to get that shit straight now. I want to get it right now. Because if I'm going anywhere after this, I want to go visit a different place. That's just my thoughts on it. And it's not just that. I want to do it for my kids because I taught my kids all those same lies that I was taught. Except I always had my kids look in the mirror and I always told them how beautiful they were. And I never once, ever once told them that they were ugly or did anything to put them down in any way. I always raised my kids up, but they watched me. They watched me in relationships where I didn't know my worth. And kids don't do what you say, they do what they see. They do what they see. So monkey see, monkey do. So they were repeating the same patterns as I was in these relationships. So I had to do it for them. I had to do it to show them. Yeah, music motivates me. And sadly I don't listen to it enough because I'm constantly, like I said, I'm constantly working on myself. I started doing the work on myself by watching YouTube videos because in 2015, I had known this guy for 16 years. He helped me through some very traumatic things where, my babysitter and husband set me up to take my children from me. And I was really going through it like that. They were my whole world, you know what I mean? And I was really going through it, and he was there. He was there for me. He was there for others, and we never got together during that time. Like we never got together, but 16 years later, we got together, and within 3 months, I was shaking inside and outside. Like he was not the person that he portrayed himself to be. So back then I had promised myself that I wasn't taking any more of the government's medicine, the depressants and all of that stuff, anxiety medicine and all of that. So I had to go back on that. I had to go back on an anxiety medicine just to steady my nerves. But anyway, the day I was leaving, I looked up at the sky and I said, God, please tell me what is wrong with me, because there cannot be the same thing wrong with every guy that I've ever met. And he started to show me, and he started to show me through tarot. And I started to work on myself. I didn't even know I had these issues. I didn't even know I had those wounds. I didn't know that I had trust issues and I was insecure and I had abandonment issues. I didn't know all this. I learned it. And as I learned it, I started working on me. Yes, it takes two. And both have got to be willing to work on themselves as well as work on the relationship. If they're not willing to work on themselves, you're going to leave their vibration and you're no longer going to be a match. Because when you meet on the same vibration. When you call each other in, you're on the same vibration. But if one or the other is doing the work, then the other one leaves the vibration. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if you're in the right or you're in the wrong. If you don't work on yourselves and you just point your finger at everybody else, like there's three pointing back. So if you don't work on yourself and they do, then their vibration is going to raise and you're still here. So either way, I've seen it. I've seen it in my own life. So when people need to go, I let them go. I used to hold on. I used to beg. I used to chase. But that's because I didn't know what I was worth. And it was my abandonment issues that were being triggered. I grew up with a bunch of stepdads, and they were all abusive until Mom met him. Yep. But, got it. You're strong. You're stronger than you think you are, because look at all you've been through and you're still standing. Diamonds are created under pressure. And, one day they're going to realize they threw that diamond away. They threw it in the trash thinking it was a lump of coal. And I think that's why all of them come back to me too, because they realize what it is they lost. But if it's got to get to a point where I'm done, and it takes a lot for me to decide I'm done, because you better believe I've looked at it at every angle I can possibly look at it at, and I've tried everything I can possibly think of before I finally throw my hands up and I'm done. But they come back. Most of them, at one point in time in my life, have come back. I do too, honey. I've been there. Matter of fact, when I was going through it with the boys, my husband, because I didn't marry my oldest kid's dad. He wanted to get married. He wanted to. But I was 18 and I was raped at 16 and molested a lot of my childhood. And so I didn't want to get married until I didn't want to have sex till I was married. And that was taken from me. So when he asked me to marry him, I told him no, because I wanted to wait until I was in my 20s. And I didn't mean anything bad by that, but I guess it hurt him. And I even explained to him why, but yeah, that was taken from me. Told you should. If I get your name wrong, I apologize. But hello, Johnny Barbecue Adventures. Hello. But anyway, I was fighting for the boys, and he had come over because my oldest son was with me, and his stomach, he was having problems with his stomach, and he looked at me because he always had a way of knowing. He always had a way of knowing when I was upset. And he looked at me and he said, "What's wrong?" And I told him, I said, I can't tell you what's wrong, because if I do, I'm going to break down into a blubbering mess. And I told him I was ready to give up. And he told me, he said, "That's not the Laura I know. That is not the Laura that I know. The Laura I know, she doesn't give up." And, just him saying that gave me that ounce of strength that I needed to stand back up. And of course, I fell into a blubbering mess, but, it is what it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Toji, is that how you say it? Toji or Tohi? Tohi. It made me stronger. It made me stronger. God's going to tear down what isn't built correctly. You know what I mean? We're going to hit our knees, but it's not being done to us. It's being done for us, because we've been built with lies. We've been told lies all our life, and we've taken them on as our own truths, and we were built incorrectly. So he's going to take it down. He's going to take us down, and so we can learn who we truly are, and we can be built correctly. Toji? Okay. How are you doing today? Johnny's Barbecue Adventures, I wasn't ignoring you. I have to actually look at the phone to see it. I have to get down and look at it because I'm nearsighted. And now they want me to wear bifocals, and I won't do it. I did it once, I don't like it. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm picking myself up by my bootstraps and standing back up no matter what's staring at me, so I'm doing good. I've been homeless twice. Almost a month the first time, and this last time, well, 2 weeks in my car, and then I decided I was going to come see my stepdad and my family. I haven't seen them, and well, I haven't really spent quality time in like 5 years. 2 years ago when I had my heart attack, after I had my heart attack, I came down and spent about a day, but I decided to come spend a couple of weeks. Because why sit out there and freeze in my car when I can come and hang out with family? Victoria Paul Amati. I'm good. How are you? Well, this was a reading, but it turned into us just sitting here talking. So if you missed the reading, it's basically watch out for the devil because you're paying attention to what's behind you, and you may bump into the devil and not even realize it. So be very discerning. Don't let them charm you. Don't let them charm you. Watch their actions. You already know what's going on, so you're pretty tapped in. If you feel something's off, something's off. Trust that. Cut that shit out and send it back down the road because you don't need it. You've been there, done that. What you lost no longer satisfied you anyway. So turn around. There's 2 other cups behind you. You feel backstabbed and betrayed, left for dead. What wasn't done to you, it was being done for you, so you could be rebuilt correctly because you're learning your worth here. You're learning who you are, and you are worth everything you ever wanted. And also is telling you to go within hermit mode and reevaluate yourself and take the weapons away from them. Don't let them use your emotions against you. Take them away from them. Stay balanced. That will piss them off more than anything. But also, if it doesn't affect you, you know what I mean? You keep yourself grounded. You can move on. And you are not supposed to feel guilty for moving on either. You're not supposed to feel guilty for wanting a life for yourself and wanting to be happy. This is an update, quick update for anybody that missed it. So you don't got to go back and watch all this. What I care about the most is you all out there. You know what I mean? If I can, in any way, shape, or form, change your mindset or help you through something that I've been through that you don't need to go through, you know what I mean? I can set knowledge and wisdom at your feet and tell you how to get through the other side. I want to be able to do that. Or if I can give you knowledge and wisdom that keeps you from going through it, then I want to do that. Okay, guys, do you remember me telling you about the girl's father who stabbed me? He went to prison. He got out on Halloween night, believe it or not. His birthday was Friday the 13th, August the 13th. He was born on a Friday the 13th. I should have ran then. I should have ran. But anyway, he got out on Halloween night. And he spent about 12 years in jail. And for me at that time wasn't, it wasn't long enough for me. I didn't think that was right. He got more time for stealing my car than he did for stabbing me. Can you believe that? You believe that? They gave him 10 years for stealing my car and 5 years for stabbing me, trying to kill me. Anyway, and they suspended like 8 of the sentence, plus he already had 2 for road hunting with a weapon, and he wasn't supposed to have it. But anyway, so my daughter's graduation came. Now, mind you, he went in when they were babies. My daughter's graduation came. And right before that happened, his family had gotten a hold of me. And I mean, I even told the kids, you know, do you want to see your dad? I'll have supervised visitation, all of that, even though this man stabbed me. And they said no, they weren't ready. So I didn't push them. But my daughter, you know, she went behind my back and invited him to her graduation, which I was throwing the after party for. And I had said something about it. She said, Mom, you ain't got to worry about it. He ain't in love with you no more. It wasn't that. It had nothing to do with that. I wasn't worried about him being in love with me. You know, I didn't know if that man was going to try to kill me again or not, you know? And I went through a lot of different emotions during that time. Not that I cared that he came to see her or anything. Like, he's her father. She needs to make her own decisions on that. But and he was a total different person when he came. But fear was one of them. Fear was one of the things that I went through with that. And when he came to the house, I was there by myself, and I answered the door, and he was like, "Hi, Laura, how are you?" I looked around and I said, "Where's your wife?" And he said, we're getting a divorce." And I could have handled that situation anyway. I mean, I could have told him to get away from there, you know, I could have slammed the door in his face. I could have told him to go up to school and wait outside for my daughter to get done graduating, because it was during COVID. And if they had it outside, they got 5 tickets. If it rained, then they had 2. It ended up having 2, and my daughter had given my son 1 and me the other. And her twin sister, was very upset with her, so I gave her mine. So anyway, I could have handled it anyway. I told him to come in, and I told him, I was like, well, I would have wrote you or whatever, but they told me that I wouldn't get the answers that I was looking for. You wouldn't tell me what I needed to hear, what I wanted to hear. And he said, well, what did you want to hear? I said, I want to know why the fuck you stabbed me. I want to know why the fuck you stabbed me. And I was nose to nose with him when I said it. And he just looked at me and he said, Laura, I can't tell you why I stabbed you. I don't know. All I can tell you is I was up for 21 days straight in a row. So my head went to, you had to be on drugs. Your mind cannot function properly with that little sleep. You know what I mean? Keep going like that. And I immediately forgive him. So my point that I'm making is, the devil is there to keep you fearful. If you're going into the dark woods, he doesn't want you to go. So he wants you to be scared, because he doesn't want you to see the peace that is on the other side. When I confronted him about that and faced him face to face and showed no fear, there was a calmness that was brought to me after that. Just had this calmness settle over me, and I forgave him instantly. What is that? Lose me? Hello? So, I mean, don't let fear stop you. That's just the devil. That's the devil in your head. Because he don't want to see you shine. He don't want to see you out there. He doesn't want to see you happy. He doesn't want to see you trusting yourself, believing in yourself. Trust issues come from us not trusting ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to make the right decisions. Why? Because we feel like we made a mistake in the past. There's no such thing as mistakes. It's a stepping stone. If you'd have known the outcome beforehand, 90% of you wouldn't have done it. You would have done something different. And you wouldn't have learned the lesson that you need to learn through it, which is your worth. So what time is it around you guys? I don't even know where my other phone is. It's 6:24 a.m. here. What time is it where you guys are at? Okay, yeah, because you're in Pennsylvania. I've been up all night. I went down and spent time with my brother, and then I got here at dark, and then spent time with my stepdad, and then when he went to bed, I got on the live. So, got it. What are you doing after this? Get some sleep. Yeah. You've been with me for a good while here. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. It was nice. Guys, if you have Cash App or whatever and you want a reading, I'm doing 2 cards for well, I'm thinking about coming on here and doing it too. 2 cards for 2222. It was 25 the other day, but I think I'm gonna make it 2222. Choose soulmate, contracts, balance, harmony. And we got new contracts coming in, so I mean, I've got more expensive readings, but if you wanted to get something, because I'm pretty in depth with what I read too. I'm just saying, if you guys want to and you have Cash App, I have, I don't have enough subscribers on here to do it through their pay thing, so I'm very good at what I do. I've had people, you know, tell me that, and it's taken me a while to realize it myself. But you get you some rest, Guided, and you keep your head up. Keep your head up, girl. You got this. You always did. Don't let them make you think any less. We got Go Within on the bottom again, Hermit. That's the star. They just don't know they're a star. I will. I'm enjoying being around family, and I'm enjoying getting back on my YouTube too, because that's something else that I let them. They made me, you know, feel like I wasn't good enough to be on here, but I am. I'm more than good enough to be on here. Dominic, should you do what? Nice to meet you, by the way. See you soon, got it. A backflip? I don't know. Is it going to hurt your back? I couldn't do a backflip to save my life anymore. But my spine's bent and twisted too, so. I used to do back bends and cartwheels and round-offs and all that stuff when I was younger. Let me see me do it now. You know the truth. Truth card. Cut out what it doesn't serve you. A new truthful beginning. You know the truth. Should you do it or not? Welcome in, guys. I got a feeling I know where that's going. Do you? That's the question. Okay, well, guys, I think I'm gonna get off here because I've been on here for quite a while. Anybody just coming in? Hello, hope you have a good day. There's actually a reading at the beginning of this, if you want to watch it. But I love you all. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Later.